Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, to Nothing is Going to Get Better, where today we are talking about the future. The future and what kind of communities we want to live in. So, when you're thinking to yourself, what do I want to have for my children? What kind of life do I want them to have when they grow up? Do I want them to be solely focused on work like my life has been, where, the capitalist tells me when I can wake up, when I go to work, what time I eat my meals, when I get to spend time with my family, when I get to take my vacation, what time I have to do my hobbies? Think about everything that controls your life right now and boil it down to how the capitalist organizes your time. So when we think about the future, is this what we want for them? Is this what we want to have for our kids? To me, when I think about the future, I try and envision a perfect utopia, right? Even though it's not possible right this second, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be envisioning a better system than what we have. So when I think about the future, I think about a society where we have completely done away with the idea of work for pay, where there are jobs that need to be done in the community just because these are things that the community requires to function. So there will be some people that go out to work in a farm where they're growing our food, or they go and they work at a factory for a few hours a day to create clothing, or they go and they create soaps and sundries or things like that. But it's just something that we do as part of what needs to be done for the community. We're not doing it because, we need to make sure that we're paying our bills on time and that we have enough money so that way we can pay everything. We're not thinking of it like that. We're thinking of much smaller communities where you're looking at your neighbor, you know your neighbors, you know the situations that they're in. Everyone is more friendly, everyone is more of a friend in the community. And we're not putting so much emphasis on what we're doing to earn money. So instead, we're just focused on living. And if we want to be able to achieve that kind of lifestyle, what is it that we have to do now? So what we need to focus on is how we can organize together. That's our first goal, right? If we want to be able to achieve nice things in the future, utopian communities, if we want to be able to achieve just a nicer place than where we're living right now, then we have to be able to organize together so that way we're finding other like-minded individuals and we're finding ways to work together to be able to achieve these things. Now, to me, I think that we need a leftist party. Because right now, the way it stands is that we have two parties, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And the Republican Party is outwardly confessing to be the worst people you can imagine. So they're the type of people that want to ship immigrants to blue states so that way they can say, ha ha, look at that, now you have to deal with it. They have cruelty, essentially, as their platform. Whatever I can do that enriches the wealthy people, that enriches the businesses, and is as cruel to the people that I personally dislike as possible. That's the right wing. The conservative party in America is essentially just based on cruelty. Now, the left wing that we're supposed to have as representation is supposed to be the Democratic Party. Now, they should be representing our interests and our values, but what they're doing is they're actually a centrist party, a center-right party, if we're being completely honest. They're essentially diet Republicans. And what I'm looking for from representation is a party that is looking to nationalize healthcare, a party that is looking to nationalize industry, a party that is looking to forgive student loan debt, a party that is looking to make it universally accessible for you to get your education, where you wouldn't have to pay for college at all. I'm looking for much further left representation than what I'm receiving. And right now, the Democratic Party is essentially telling us, well, this is your only option, and if you don't vote for us, then these terrible Republicans are going to get into office. And they're relying so heavily on the idea of fear that if you don't vote for us, then these terrible people are going to take over. And that's true. If you don't vote for Democrats, then the awful Republicans are going to take over. But that doesn't mean that we should be voting for Democrats, because number one, you should never vote out of fear. You should never be going to the polls and saying to yourself, I need to do this because it's the lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils is still evil. And it's not a good way to be able to build our systems going forward, because if we keep going to the polls and every time the Democrats tell us this election is the most important election of your lifetime and you have to vote blue no matter who, if you keep going with that attitude, all that's going to happen is that the Democratic Party is going to remain in control and they're going to continue to do their centrist policies. And that does not help us at all. If we want to be able to get to the society of the future that we want to be able to get to, taking the steps that are necessary to get there, then we have to be able and willing to break away from the Democratic Party. And if we show them through our vote that we are not going to represent them, or that they are not going to represent us rather, then we are at least telling them what our expectation is. Now, to me, we can go further than that. We should be building a third party that is representative of the leftist ideas. We should be going out and going to red states and not forgetting our comrades that are living under these oppressive regimes in, Texas or Iowa or Arkansas, where they're passing horrible anti-trans laws, where they're passing bigoted LGBT laws. We need to be able to go to these places and help and represent the people who are living there that are good people. If we want to be able to achieve the things that we want to have in the future, we can't forget anyone, all right? We need to be able to go to these states and represent ourselves. So this is my plan. I want to be able to gather as many people to watch this channel, to grow together, so that way you like, share, subscribe, do all those things, so that way we're growing together, and then we'll be able to take the necessary steps towards action. So this is a channel of action. If you are looking to be able to represent your values, to break away from the Democratic Party, to actually find a leftist organization that is going to represent your values, then please follow along with us so that way you are being represented in the future and we can actually build the kind of communities that we want to see. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon.